And that was President Obama during the congressional picnic yesterday. As you can see, he was in a much lighter mood than compared to what he was at the air base at McGill Air Force Base. Now, President Obama has been bringing up some very interesting things in reference to ISIS, or otherwise some people call him ISIL, which is the Islamic State. I have my personal opinions about this. I really do. I guess many of you out there would consider me a hawk when it comes to how do you deal with ISIS and ISIL. I want to go in there and just bomb the living hell out of these guys, find their leadership, and do to them exactly what they did to James Foley, what they did to Stephen Sotloff, what they did to David Haynes, and what they intend to do to another United Kingdom worker. I want them to be beheaded. I want them to be caught. I want them to be captured. And then I want to see these guys cry for their life because they know they are about to be beheaded. That's what I want to see. You know, you can call me a hawk that way, but I honestly believe that, this group, this terroristic jihadist group, is a bunch of wimps. They're a bunch of crybabies, and they deserve no less treatment than what they have done to these journalists, to these aid workers. I honestly believe that this is what they did. If you hear that coughing in the background, that's our station mascot. She must have ate something that didn't quite agree with her or whatever. I don't know. But anyhow, getting back to what I was saying. I believe we need to go in, bomb the living hell out of these guys, and then capture the leadership and cut off their heads. I know there are going to be the people out there, well, that's going to take boots on the ground. Well, guess what? As much as President Obama has said he's not going to put boots on the ground, they're already there. Okay. Granted, they are, as he says, they are advisors to the Iraqi, Sunni, and all the other forces there. They're advisors. But isn't that what Dwight Eisenhower said back in the 1950s when we sent, quote-unquote, advisors to Vietnam? That we were not going to get involved in the Vietnam conflict, and that we were only sending in advisors. Didn't we hear that back in the 1950s? Think about it. For those of you who are way too young to know, or way too young to remember, Dwight David Eisenhower, president at the time, sent advisors to South Vietnam to help the South Vietnamese army defend its country. Well, it went from advisors to sending in some combat troops to an all-out war that cost thousands of lives. Isn't that exactly what it sounds like with President Obama at the moment? We're not going to go in, we're not going to go in and put boots on the ground. We're only sending in advisors. That's the same thing Dwight David Eisenhower said all those years ago, back in the late 1950s, about 58, 59, just prior to the time that John F. Kennedy took over the administration. Dwight David Eisenhower, go back, look in your history books, you'll see that he sent in advisors to Vietnam. So don't tell me that this is not going to escalate, because if it doesn't, it's going to surprise me. But if we've learned anything from history, we will soon once again be involved militarily with boots on the ground in Iraq and Syria. So, this is going to, it sounds to me, sounds to a lot of other talk show hosts, that this is another Vietnam in the making. Is this what we want? Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Is this what we want? Do we want another Vietnam? I don't think we do. America doesn't need it. But once again, we failed to listen to the lessons of the past. and we are doomed to repeat them. I forget who it was that said it. If you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat them. And once again, we are doomed to repeat the past. And everybody out there is going to tell me, Bob, these are only, excuse me, these are only advisors. They're not there to fight. But I got news for you, folks. History has a tendency to repeat itself. We currently are sending in advisors just like we did back in the 1950s. We're going to be doing it now, and it's going to only escalate. I do not see it de-escalating anytime soon. Granted, we're going to be getting out of Afghanistan, but now you've got the ISIL or ISIS threat, and I don't see it dissipating anytime soon. In fact, if anything, I see it escalating to putting a few troops in to an all-out request, as you might say, from the Iraqi army. And I believe in what General Dempsey said, that boots on the ground will probably be required in order to defeat ISIL. And with that, it is time for me to get on out of here. I hope you all have a great Thursday. I'll be back here again tomorrow, 6 a.m. So until tomorrow morning, and right now, like I said, stay tuned, because Ed Till will be coming up here right after the NPR news. So until tomorrow, this is Bob Williams. Take care of yourselves.